Are you talking about the Pocahontas Indians?
So I had,
Oh my god! Yeah, that was so.
You think I'm an ignorant savage?
frickin' Jimmy, did you see my long message about the semantic primitive stuff?
But they were all of them deceived, for another ring was made.
In the land of Mordor, in the fires of Mount Doom.
Oh, I skimmed it. I skimmed it.
What's your opinion?
I don't. I skimmed it, so I don't. I don't know what it was about really.
Jimmy. Frickin'. Let me go look at it again.
All right, I have thought about the issues with analogical predication. When I was a professed atheist, I used to exploit that in debate with Christians. However, I don't think it's an issue now. I think everyone's mind houses a concept of God as what's been revealed. And the content of the concept that we all possess is what God has revealed about himself, of which we understand exhaustively. That's not to say that we understand God in his entirety exhaustively. As for the language that we use when we express the concept, such as knowledge, power, etc., are going to be representative of the concept such as its content, but they are in their own category. In parentheses, creator distinction. As long as we qualify that the words we are using are in the creature, or excuse me, as long as we qualify that the words we are using are in the creator category, as to not equivocate, then that's fine, as everyone possesses the concept anyway. So for example, creature context of knowledge, justified true belief. Creator context of knowledge, semantic primitive. Creature context of mind, a set of mental states. Creature context of mind, semantic primitive, and so on. If you think there's any issue with that, what I've said here, I'd be interested in hearing what your thoughts are. It just sounds like he's it just sounds like his way of solving the semantic content problem, or the semantic component of theological predication, is to say that it's a primitive, and I don't know that that's a good idea.
You don't know.
I think that's kind of like saying God's, everything is explained except for God, and he's the one brute fact. I think it's kind of like doing that. I think the concept of a semantic primitive is problematic in itself. It's kind of like a linguistic atomism used in the idiosyncratic sense that like Bonson used it. The problem is that if I want to say I want to say God knows, and then I want to say God doesn't know some things, like God doesn't know that the present king of France has blue hair or something like that. The minute I go to explain why that's the case, I'm going to rely on certain concepts about knowledge, and those are going to be derived from how we think about knowledge for human beings. And I'm not saying that it'll be autonomous thinking. We can totally do that from a biblical perspective, and found a lot of our key premises about knowledge on what God has revealed about himself and what God has done in the world and all that stuff. I'm just saying, because we want to be able to reason about what God knows and how he knows and all of that stuff, because that seems to be something that the biblical authors are reasoning about themselves, and because that's something that seems inevitable if you're going to do theology at all, then how could this be semantic primitive? Because you're going to do what the what does Derrida call it? It's called oh my gosh, what was that word? Sometimes it's called the delay. I can't remember what it's there's a D word for it. I can't think of what it is. It's when you right, Derrida had this critique of like analytic philosophy that there's a regress problem with how you define words, because whenever you go to define a word, you're going to use another one, but this seems to just delay endlessly defining the original word, because then the question of defining these next words come up. And I want to use that I want to use that positively rather than as a critique. I want to say like, well, that's something you should be able to do, is use other words to clarify and maybe bring nuance or something like that. And as soon as you do that, it can't be semantic primitive. Chase, if you think this is so boring, then get on and talk about it, because I don't even think that's Hume. No, it's not, Chase. Hume is no, because he's not criticizing this guy that messaged Bonson is not criticizing theological predication. He's trying to solve the semantic component. Whenever you say like God is good, there's like three components of that. There's like what it is to be good when we're talking about God, so that's metaphysics. Then there's like how we know, so how, what reasons we have to believe the claim is true. But then there's the middle question, which is like, what does that express? When we say God is good, what is the meaning of that utterance? So like if you take a proposition, there's the metaphysical truth maker of the proposition, there's the justifications we have to believe the proposition, but then there's the question, what is the propositional content itself?
Can you paint with all the colors of the wind?
Go, you know the thing.